Hello, everybody. Welcome to TELLI Talks, where we talk about life, growth, relationships, and all things in between. I have a very special guest with me today. He is Marcus Barney, aka Him 500. He is a serial entrepreneur. He owns aviation. He helps people become millionaires. He does this thing that he calls edutainment that we are going to talk about. So thank you for coming on.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me.
Thanks for coming. So for the people that don't know your journey, can you tell us how you got to where you are today?
So my journey started 16 years old. I did telesales. So I did sales. Then at 18, I got my real estate license. By 23, I owned a Boost Mobile store. Real estate license at 18 failed because the crash. That was 2006. The crash happened in 2008. Ended up moving to Atlanta, the city of entrepreneurship, hustle, grind. So I ended up opening up like a Boost Mobile store, different cell phone repair centers.
At 19?
By that time, the cell phones came into place about 21, 22. Okay. About 22, by 23, I had the Boost Mobile store. I had a little kiosk in the mall. I used to do Craigslist, repairs. And from there, went through that, then went into banking and learning the banking system and about credit and education, because my businesses kept failing. It's because of funding. So learned credit, start educating people, start trying to educate myself.
Right.
To establish funds and have a backing. You know, we don't come from trust funds. So I'm like, I need some kind of security. I'm like, how do I get credit cards? I'm like, it got to be something more to having good credit than just having good credit, getting an apartment.
Absolutely.
So I went and started learning all the benefits of credit. Created a business of it. Developed Recession Proof. Recession Proof was a community to help educate our people on leveraging credit, going into business. I thought I would help 10 people create a mastermind group, 10 people with $1 million, 10 million. We're going to take it to the moon.
Absolutely.
I seen it was a demand for it, and the demand grew to where my community ended up growing to over 10,000 people, and did a partnership, and now we have a community of over 20,000 people. That's teaching them about entrepreneurship and business.
That is amazing. I just never understood why they don't teach you in high school that there is this in the real life. You have to create funds for yourself. You have to be able to learn how to sign a check. They don't teach you the fundamentals of business in high school, and I feel like that's essential to know. And for you to have an academy where you teach people how to generate their own funds and how to save money, how to create money for yourself, that's essential for everyone.
Yeah, with that is that a lot of people they're starting to integrate it into schools. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, is that I'm one of the ones that you don't go to college to learn how to make money.
Right.
It's other things that are needed when it comes to development and developing people, whether it's developing, your social skills, whether it's developing the way that you learn, different abilities to learn, working your brain in different aspects. Everything is needed. And so I'm not one of the entrepreneurs that be like, don't go to school. Right. There's benefits for it, but you can't go to school based to make money.
Absolutely.
And so when I look at it and I go, well, they're starting to implement it, but when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to business, that's more so one of the things you got to learn from experience. If you put it in a textbook, it's not going to work because it's constantly evolving. Right. You can't tell people that they should have a podcast 3 years ago. The curriculums that are being taught in schools was made 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago sometimes. So the way that technology and business evolves is one of those things that I just believe that peer-to-peer is the best way to be able to learn from somebody and go, okay, well, what did you do? Actually, let me learn from your experiences. Now, financial literacy, teaching them about credit and the benefits and perks is something that needs to be more so pushed. But on the entrepreneur side, we got to learn from each other.
Absolutely.
Because we get to learn from experiences.
Absolutely. And I just feel like you said, that's the key thing, because people don't know better. They won't do better if they don't know better. And I feel like that's just a way of life, in not just in business, but in everyday living. If you don't know how to cook rice, for example, you're not going to make it right, or fry an egg, or, some people don't know how to boil an egg, So it's just if you don't know, how are you going to learn? If you don't watch a tutorial, if you don't watch a motivational an educational
Yeah.
situation. So edutainment.
Edutainment is the event.
Let's talk about it.
Edutainment is the events. Just because, like you said, what we don't know. And what we don't know is what we're not exposed to. So in our community, we're exposed to entertainment. And, you know, what Jay said, all we got is sports and entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the only things that we're really exposed to as far as ways out of, you know, poverty communities, inner city communities. And so entertainment controls our community. So what I look at, I always go, where's my clients? Where's my audience? Where are they at? Where do they hang out at? Entertainment. So when I started doing my conferences and my events, I would have performers come and rappers come and perform so we can double down. So it's not just coming for entertainment. I mean, just coming for the education. You'll come for entertainment too.
There's incentive behind it. Absolutely.
So we bring the entertainment in. So because these are things that we enjoy in our culture. And so we're not going to act like it don't exist. We're not going to act like it's not relevant. It's 100%. So, you know, we bring certain people out to talk about their business side, to talk about life, and just, you know, entertain our audience, but at the same time, inject the education that's needed and create that environment of like, listen, it's a room full of people who actually want to be smart and want to go into business and want to do things and help further and grow their family and
absolutely,
you know, and be productive.
Do you feel like there's, I guess, what is the word I'm trying to look for? I guess it's, for me, I've encountered people where it's like you can motivate them, but they don't have it in themselves to have that like ambitious drive. Like I feel like ambition is something that's inside of you and you have to want to hustle. You know what I'm saying? And some people like see what you have or see what you can do, but don't want to put in that work. Like how do you deal with people that come in and are that type of person?
So that's the biggest thing. And like, I think a lot of times we leave those people out. Like, it's like, oh, we'll say, you know, you got to want it. You can't make somebody want it.
Absolutely.
What happens is that we got to start, we identify what your strong points are. You got the kids and the people who got high energy, ADHD. And it's like, you wouldn't sit still to read a book, be calm, and understand organization in the business to save your life. It's not going to happen. You're the one that's going to go talk. You're the one that's going to be the charismatic one. You got all that in the world. But if we say, okay, now build these systems out. I need you to read these books. I need you to study this and put these funnels together and put this website. Like, what? It's not you.
Right.
So I realized that early on is that people it wasn't the lack of ambition. It was, what's your strong point?
Absolutely.
And we have to have things for every personality type. So in order for you to be an educator, you want to help people grow. Like, what do you put in place for their personality type? If they're an introvert, do you have put things and teach them about business operations where they don't have to be the face front person, but then create a community where the loud person with the person person with the personality and the sales and the charisma, create a community where they can network amongst each other, see their strengths and weaknesses and combine.
Absolutely.
A lot of times we just go, you got to hustle, go do it by yourself. I realized, like, I moved from Stockton to Atlanta and I was by myself and I was like, man, this would be like, I had a best friend. My best friend committed suicide. And I'm like, I'm really out here by myself. And once I started making money, I'm like, yo, I started making friends. I'm like, this would have been so much easier from the gate if I had a circle. And I seen how fast I grew once I started getting the right friends, how fast business took off. So when
and that's another thing, having the right people in your circle.
Yep. And that's why we created a community where, like, we got 26 chapters around the United States. Well, how do you find entrepreneurs in your city that's on what you own? Well, create it if you're going to teach them.
Absolutely.
Create the system that they need. So we created communities so you don't have to be by yourself. So you can actually learn, and now whatever your personality type is, you can go help somebody else make money. You don't always have to be the face front. You don't have to be the person online, going live, doing podcasts, doing interviews. It may not be you.
Right.
That's totally fine. But we'll teach you how to build the systems. We'll teach you how to run Facebook ads. We'll teach you how to, build websites, code websites, how to use AI. We teach the person with the personality can learn that, or this person can.
Right.
We teach the person with the personality content creation, how to talk, what to say. So everybody
I love
has
that
something.
it's like customized
Yes.
per person.
What
And
you
that
wanna
just makes
pull
it
out.
so much special because, like you said, well, like I said, not everyone is, you know, the face of the company. Not everybody is the outspoken one. Not everybody is willing to read a book and be educated in that sense, but they can be strong in another point. So
Yeah.
I think that's amazing because there's so many different varieties of people out here that you just don't know,
Yep.
you know, what you're going to get or what they're coming in for. You know, they could be coming in to learn about business, but they might not be business oriented, or they might just be stronger in another. So do you guys spend like time with each particular person to know what it is that they have as a strong point, or do they come in with, you know, something that they have to fill out so you know?
So we do like an orientation weekly. We do a weekly orientation to explain how the university works so people can go through, and we teach them, okay, these are our different variables. These are the different things that we teach. So we may have live calls and different things we're going to teach, but we tell them where to start at and kind of break down everything that's in it for them to identify what they want to do. Okay. A lot of people come in because the biggest thing people come in for is like, yo, I need help with my credit. I need to know how to learn how to fix, establish, and build my credit so I can go get business funding and get funding. So that's where a lot of people come in at, and then they realize like, wait, it's a lot of stuff that I actually can use.
Yeah.
And then they go into business and they start seeing like, oh, okay, this is how I properly set my business, my LLCs up. And so we kind of do the orientation and expose them to, this is where you start. And then once you go into your chapters, you see what it is that you want to do and what you're comfortable with, and focus on that, where your personality type is, and build up. And so
how long is an average academy program with you guys typically?
It's for life. It's for life. We locked in for life. Like, the thing is that it's a community. When we get into it, it's like, you know, the goal is that we don't want nobody to do it by themselves. Absolutely. Like, I don't want nobody out here to be like, yo, I'm gonna go do it alone, because one, is boring, and two, you need help.
Absolutely. And it's like, when you have the education, like let's say you go to college, a regular typical college, you go to college, you get your 4 years, you get your degree, and majority of the time, realistically speaking, all those 4 years, you're not using all that education in your current job. Like let's say, for example, nursing. If you go to school for nursing for 4 years and you work as, a recovery nurse, let's say, all of what you learned in clinicals and all of what you learned in the things that might not necessarily fit your particular job is like, not saying you necessarily wasted that time, but it's like, okay, you're done with school, now you're on your own. The fact that you're able to still be with them through the entire course of their life, it just makes it so much easier, because you have someone to call on, like, hey, you know, we might not have targeted this during class, but this is my situation, or during the seminar, or during the program, this is what I'm dealing with. Or I have more knowledge than I even need at this particular situation.
And it evolves.
Yes.
And when you go to, in college, like college is great for, like I kind of mimic the model, is college is great for networking. A lot of your relationships, because 18 to 25, most people get into trouble. That's like one of the most dangerous times, especially for a young black man. Like it's 18 to 25, because they do things for money, financial crimes, and doing things and getting in trouble. So what I realized is that, okay, well, what makes somebody go to college? Networking, the not just learning, but they want to go and figure out how to make money. But then what keeps them there is their friends, the circle, the community. We even got a fraternities that we launching now.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's like, and we putting the fraternities on colleges so we can bridge that gap between college and business, so people don't think, you know, either I got to go to college or be an entrepreneur. Like, you can do both.
Absolutely.
And so we just look at that gap and just think like, yo, everybody that goes to college, you build relationships. And those are some of the most, you know, important things that you can pull away from college, is the relationships. I see so many people, you know, not only grow and mature throughout that time, but relationships they were able to build. So if they ever want to change fields and do different things, they have opportunities based around the network. So that's one of the things I look at and go, okay, well, we need to build that as well, because college is super expensive.
Absolutely.
And it's not catered to making money and going directly peer-to-peer education. I can learn, hey, Telly, what did you put in your cologne, in your fragrance? What did you use? How did you distribute it? I can learn directly from you versus taking me a year to take 4 or 5 different courses when I can ask you and have a conversation with you and you can tell me in 2-3 hours.
Exactly.
If it took us, and for me to want to go through it, I say, well, how long did it take you to develop it? Okay, it took me a year to develop everything. Okay, well, how much would you charge me to tell me how to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
and cheaper than a 4-year, 1-year, 2-year college, and that's the thing I feel like with colleges and schools, they prolong a program when you can learn it in a short amount of time because it's the funding that, is needed to make everything go. And on top of that, they're not paying the teachers, the professors enough to be able to educate these people and share that knowledge. And it's unfortunate.
And it's hard to pay people who actually that's in business to get them to come in and be dedicated to teaching them. Absolutely. So you're not really learning from people's experiences all the time.
Absolutely.
So it's just one of the things that's just needed in our culture is that we got to learn from each other, and we got to make it cool. And then it got to be relatable. Mm-hmm. People want to learn from somebody they can relate to. They don't want to learn from and going and you like, man, teacher lame. I don't want to, man, you don't know what you're talking about. It's a lack of respect for the professors. So, and it's like I tell people is that I'm not for everybody. Mm-hmm. I'm for the people who relate to me. I'm going to be, for the people who relate to me. It just is what it is. And so that's why it's so important. I tell people is like, let's be smart. Like, let's make it cool to be smart because somebody's going to relate to you. You may be heavy into religion. You may be heavy into church. I may talk to people who want to go make $1 million. You may talk to people and attract people because you was able to tithe $1 million. That's 2 different audiences. Mm-hmm. They both need us. They both need somebody telling them that it's cool to be smart. And we can be smart and still be contributors to our causes and what we are passionate about.
Absolutely. So I know with all of that, you still have other businesses and other things going on. How did you get into aviation?
So that, like I said, playing, right? Literally, like I'm one of the ones, I will never lose my childhood. Like my inner...
That makes it who you are.
Yeah, like I'm not the most mature person. Like I want to laugh, I want to have fun, like I like to play. And so private jets, I'm looking at it like a kid. I'm like, yo, these dudes be jumping on these jets. Mm-hmm. What is that like? And so I'm like, I'm gonna figure out how to get on private jets. So I figured out how to get on private jets. I started learning like you can buy a membership, you can find out about like empty legs. And so I said, okay, let me see what it's like. I just wanted to see what it was like. I said, nah, this is different. So I'm telling my wife, I'm like, nah.
Yeah, it's hard to go back to flying commercial after flying private, 110%.
Listen, so I'm like, yo, this is different. She like, for real? Yeah. I'm like, I done jumped on 2-3 jets. So now I'm like.
And it's not cheap, y'all. It is not cheap to fly on a private jet.
It's so we had to, me as a businessman, I'm like, how do I make it cheap? Like I literally paid $7,000 for a membership, and I was getting empty leg flights. I'd jump on an empty leg, and it'd cost me like $2,000-$3,000.
Especially if you do it last minute, and it's like they gotta sell that leg. Yeah, absolutely.
So we was jumping on the jets, and I'm like, okay, but I was doing it to learn the industry, and I started making relationships, and then I would start going like, y'all want to come with me? Let's take people. Mm-hmm. So we would go and jump on jets, and I'm like, okay, so. I started learning the industry and developing relationships and seeing how it worked. Well, now I went from just getting an empty leg to see what it was like to like, yo, let me just book the jet and I can take people with me. We do a mastermind. If we going somewhere, we just gonna charter the jet. We can take 6 people, 7 people. We just split it. Let's go.
Right.
So now we're going, and I'm like, I'm becoming influential on private jets. Like, so I said. So to a company, I asked, how can we partner? I'm just learning nobody wants to tell you how to do it.
Absolutely.
So I said,
and that's the problem with, I feel like, life. Like no one wants you to do better than them or be better than them or achieve what they're even at their level. Yep. They want you to be under them. And it's just like, there's so much for everyone. Why can't we just all do it together?
And I asked, and I said, well, what if I buy one? When I started looking and shopping around to buy one, everybody wanted to sell it to me because of the commission. And I said, well, I found a company and I said, well, what do you guys do? And they're like, we broker, we do this. I said, well, how much do it cost for me to partner with you and you broker my jet out? Like, would you broker my jet? They're like, yeah, we'll broker your jet. And I said, well, then how much to be a partner? Because you're going to make money off of me and I'm going to be sending you a lot of traffic because everybody who it's impossible to broker my jet out to everybody who's going to want to just get on my jet. What else do they take? What other options? He was like, oh, we'll put them on something else. I said, then how do I make money off of that?
Right.
You don't. Okay. Can I be a part of your company? What do we need to do? They're like, yeah, let me buy a percentage. I buy a percentage of your business and I'm gonna let you sell me a jet so you make money. They sold me the jet. I made money off of them selling the jet because now I'm a part of your business. So now I get profit share into the business. So I said, okay, so when I bought the jet, I bought my jet, partnered with them, internet went crazy, marketing went crazy. So I did well on my side, but then their business evaluation, I started getting people coming buying $1 million jet cards. People just booking with them. The evaluation went from 50 million to the company now being worth 100 million. So I invested in it, ended up in the private jet industry, chartering jets. That was cool. The biggest play was I just doubled my money in my investment that I put in, minus my tax write-offs. And really I was trying to get a tax write-off too when I bought the jet. It just took everything to another level. And I said, this is things that we couldn't predict. Like we wouldn't know. And so that was my thing. Like that was my interest into aviation. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm learning the private jets. But then I looked at the broker side and said, the money not on these jets and planes, the money's on the broker side and the technology side in this business over here.
And that's what people don't know. They think like when you fly private and you're not chartering the planes, it's more expensive because the plane isn't what is the expensive part. It's getting the pilot and doing all that private and that type of stuff.
All the fees and stuff that come with it when you got to land, the landing
gas,
fees, the gas.
all of that.
And so that's what it is. And I learned, I said, okay, I make X amount of money with your jet. That's cool. And it looks cool to the naked eye. And I said, these are the things that attract me as a young black man. I was attracted by this. But now as I'm starting to learn, I seen the business model on the brokering side. And I said, your evaluation doubled. So that's $50 million that we just made in worth. I said, why? He said, oh, just more traction. They started explaining to me the business models. And they're like, yeah, so we're trying to sell it. We get an offer, to sell it almost at max value of the valuation. And I'm sitting here going, nah, they don't. I'm in the private jet industry. People see, yo, you got a jet. I'm like, nah, we got to buy more businesses and get involved.
Why would you
more.
sell it when you can make more?
I said, so I'm looking and talking to them. They said, yo, we can take this evaluation up to $1 billion. Because now I'm sitting at the table. It's not like, yo, this is a guy who owns a jet. Like, we're partners. So now they ask me, how can we help? How can we do this? What do we need to do? And they're like, yo, we need to get to $1 billion evaluation. And I said, I started out as a kid playing, wanting to figure out what it was like to jump on a jet. Now being owner of a business that's worth $100 million, that we're chasing down $1 billion evaluation over the next 24 months. Sometimes people don't realize that. Let your curiosity go. Go play in industries, but always be smart and look at the bigger picture. But nobody trained me. I figured out on accident by just doing. I just do. Like, we just have to do things, not,
And the fact that you're asking questions like, hey, if I'm buying this jet and I don't know how to make money from this jet, how are you guys making money from this situation? And then once you figured out how they were making money and how you can get in to make money with them, and now they're bigger, you know? And that's the thing. Like, I feel like as a culture, we can't be scared to ask. We can't be scared to want to gain that information or knowledge from whoever it is. And that's what I feel like sometimes we get prideful, and we don't want to ask because it's like, we all are going to learn from each other, you know?
100%. Like I tell people is that, and you got to want to share.
Absolutely.
I tell people, they say, yo, what's recession proof? I say recession proof is a mindset and a lookout on life is that you should make money 3 or 4 different ways off of every situation. as business owners, we don't look at making money 3 or 4 different ways. We look at the main thing that we want to do, and that's it. We'll market and, we'll market at one product or service or, and that's it. And we think that's how we should make money off of it. We don't look and say, okay, you should have 4. I put a tweet out today and I said, listen, I'm gonna use your fragrance as an example. You should make money. It should be 4 verticals in every business in order to make it recession proof. You should have the original product and service, so you got a fragrance. You should have a digital product that is low fulfillment, costs you nothing. It's an add-on whenever somebody buy like an ebook of how to wear fragrances, how to apply them, how to mix different fragrances and know what notes. You literally can create a digital product for that, and that's just an email, and it's $20 on the back of the purchase on just a click, the website, $20. Then I said people should have events, live in-person events to create dominance in their industry and just brand awareness and networking amongst other fragrances. It doesn't matter. And I'm literally using yours as an example. You imagine you have an event based around fragrances. You can curate it however you want, but you bring other big brands in, you bring, entertainment in, and you bring people in to where now how do I get 5,000 people here to come and learn about fragrances or just selling fragrances? I seen a plumbing expo. So there's expos for everything. There's communities about fragrance. When you look at most of viral videos is about fragrance. So now you create a live product around fragrance. Then you create a high ticket product where, hey, it's 25,000, 50,000 for me to teach you one-on-one, for me to explain to you how to create your own fragrance. It's 50,000. I don't have to sell 1 million of these. I don't need to sell 100. I can sell 1 every other month at 50,000, and it's still great to add to my bottom line revenue of this fragrance company. Right. But what happens is that the fragrance sales, that's great revenue, but now I got the upsell off the ebooks that can generate me an extra couple $100,000 a year. My event can generate me a few million because if I bring sponsors in and structure it right. And then my high ticket for me educating people on how to create their own and like my own mastermind setting, bringing everything that they need in a real intimate setting. I do a few of those, make a few million off of that. Well, now your business can't lose. If one vertical falls off, you're still great. If the sales on the regular product and service kind of slows up, that's fine. I still got my event. I still got my mastermind until I recreate the fragrance to get that product and service, that product back up and running. Absolutely. But nobody tells us. Do it 4 ways. Have minimum 4. Those are things that will help you be like really recession proof when no matter what happens in the economy, one of these things are still gonna go and keep your business afloat. And then you can do 3 or 4 off of each leg, but that's really going deep into it. But
and speaking about fragrance isn't like selling clothes or selling beauty products or selling a car, for example, because a fragrance you kind of have to smell and it has to be adaptable to your body, your pheromones. And it's hard to sell a fragrance online, which going into the fragrance world, I knew I loved fragrances, just like you knew you loved aviation or you knew you loved planes. I knew I loved fragrances, but I didn't put into consideration like, oh, how do I sell this fragrance by a picture without anyone knowing what it smells like? I can tell you it smells luxurious. I can tell you it smells rich, but what does luxury and rich smell like? You know, I have to tell you what notes it is. And then there's certain notes, like let's say it's jasmine or patchouli, like not everyone knows what patchouli is, or not everyone knows how jasmine smells, or there's different forms of it. And, you know, it makes sense to do live things like pop-ups or educational things to just let them know, hey, this fragrance is okay for eczema prone skin or psoriasis, or this is made with essential oils. Like they don't grasp that in a picture. Like you do with clothes, you see something on a hanger and you're like, hey, I know it would look good on me, you know, and it's so different and such a different way to market fragrance than it is to market clothes. And that's one thing that you don't learn when you're in school and, you know, doing business. And it's just like you have this blueprint of a business module, but every business is different. And that's kind of like, okay, yeah, I can sell clothes and I can sell water to a fish, but how do I sell something that I'm not used to selling it has to be tested on people?
I'll be one that say with the rest of the audience, I don't know what patchouli is. Okay, like, be honest. Like, I know some of y'all are like, I don't know what patchouli is. But you see how passionate you spoke about that because it's from experience.
Yes.
You can't,
110% experience.
you gotta know, like, you gotta know what it is that you do and how to educate people on it from experience. It's like, how do you do it? And then you ask, well, how did you do it? And you go, well, you gotta communicate, and then reviews, and, you know, testing, and creating a demand and marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Some parts is some people buy off of brands.
Mm-hmm.
Some people buy off of look.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are gonna know okay, what is this? What's in it? What's the top notes? Okay, what's my middle layers? Okay, where is it gonna set at? Okay, I can kind of know what this is gonna be like. Let me see how they put it together.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it also matters on how it's put together, because it's fragrances that have the same exact thing, but how do they put it together?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So those are things that you really look at and you go, okay, people who say, well, I would like to create a fragrance because they'll look into, well, what's the profit margins? What's the business model like? And they go, the profit margins are great. Doesn't mean you're gonna see them if you don't sell.
110%. Like, you could be in $1 billion industry
Mm-hmm.
and not make $100,000 or $1 million
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know how to generate the sales, or your audience isn't targeted for that particular product. You know, like, let's say you have, like me, for example, like I have over 1 million followers, but that doesn't mean 1 million followers are following me for fragrances.
Yes.
You know, so
Yes.
it's just like when I have companies that approach me about, you know, marketing whatever it is they have to market, I'm like, you know, I can't promise you 100 million in sales or 100,000 in sales even. Like, I don't know who follows me for what. I can tell you about a percentage, but who's to say that they're going to spend X amount of thousands of dollars on this product? You know, like, you could be influential in so many different things that you just don't know what the outcome is unless you try.
That's one of the things that's super big, is that understanding your audience, understanding the demographic, understanding who you talk to. A lot of people get on social media and they think, oh man, you know, if we make good money, if I got a lot of followers, I can make money online. And it's like, no, you have to have an audience for what it is that you do.
Absolutely.
I have an audience for education. They come to me for education. They come for me to learn. They come to me for business. They don't come to me for me to be like, hey, yo, man, let me show you what alcohol to drink or what club is popping.
Right.
Like, I'll lose followers going to clubs, popping bottles, posting those pictures. I will lose followers.
Mm-hmm.
Brother, if you don't tell me something smart in the next 24 to 48 hours, I'm finna unfollow you.
Right. Absolutely.
And so you look at how you create that audience, but that's why I tell people is that you have to know how to monetize social media, when to do it, how to be mindful of, okay, I can have people come for one thing, but I can monetize anything if done properly. If the communication is done properly, okay, cool. This is what you guys are here for, what you guys hang out for, but let me introduce this in a way that is conducive with my brand.
Absolutely.
And so when you look at that, that's something that's super important that a lot of times people don't realize. Like, you may want to sell something or a product, but you have the messaging behind it is super important, because that can change everything.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and it don't matter. Like, you look at, and the approach to the business, like, you get it's people out there who have t-shirt lines, and they get a t-shirt company and they'll make $10,000 in a year selling t-shirts, and it's fine for them. But that's just their approach to it, was to sell t-shirts and make 10,000. Meanwhile, somebody else goes out and creates Louis Vuitton, creates SIA got the shoes collection and does tens of millions selling sneakers. Meanwhile, somebody else is just painting sneakers and made, you know, tens of thousands. Meanwhile, somebody else made tens of millions.
You know what I feel like helps too with any business? I feel like if you have a story behind your business, your company, your brand, it just makes it so much better, because like you said, people want to know how you came to this, I don't know, card game. How did you get into aviation? EMS, like, how did you get into the medical field? That's completely different than, you know, all the way from cell phones to aviation to medicine, like just owning an emergency service. How did you get into that?
So we own ambulances, and it was an opportunity. Met a guy who said he owned ambulances. He wanted to educate people on ambulances, and I'm like, prove it. Show me how it works. He like, all right. I said, look, I'll buy my ambulance. Teach me. And he showed me his books, what he did. I'm like, that's fine. Let me do it so I can see before I educate people
Right,
on an
absolutely.
ambulance. Because he was like, I don't want to go be you. I want to just educate people on this industry. I'll give you all the information. I'll make the course and give it to you and put in your university. I just want, and I'm like, yo, I want to vet it out that it works. So he ended up, helping us start our emergency, our EMS company. And my mind was blown. That was one of the things that impressed me. The private jet was amazing, but owning an ambulance, I was like, nah, this is the coolest thing. Like, I got like buttons. I'm sitting there pressing buttons, driving the ambulance. I'm like, nah, this is
crazy.
dope. And it's rewarding because
I was just going to get to that.
You helping people. And it's like, it's not, 911 gunshot victim. Sometimes it's people who are, bedridden, got to go to dialysis. They diabetics and they lost their legs and they're, at home, and you got to go take them out on a stretcher and take them to doctor appointments, and just those type of movements, and just helping people, and the insurance covers it and pays for it. And that was one of the dopest things to me. I'm like, wait a minute, I never knew I can own an ambulance. So setting that business up was just another vertical of like things we didn't know.
Absolutely. And I like, my reason why I feel like I'm on this world is to just nurture and help people. So like, that's one of the most amazing feelings that I get by just helping someone, that's whatever it is, from the smallest things to the biggest things, is just like helping and nurturing. What do you feel your reason why is?
My biggest is looking at everything. Like, it started out, it's with me, men, like Black men, what we go through, like becoming fathers, becoming husbands, going into business, wanting to take care of our family. Like, we get so much put on our back before we can ever even open a parachute. And so my best friend died 21, committed suicide because financial reasons. And it's like, yo, like, we were struggling, hustling. So when we moved to Atlanta, the party scene got him, the club and just going out, girls, went broke. Go broke, stressed out, ego kicks in, trauma from growing up, not wanting to be judged, not wanting to be weak. It kicks in, the mental health, and he commits suicide. Leaves me by myself. And what I realized is, I go, if somebody would have taught us, we would have been way further ahead. Nobody taught us. We was able to put, at 18 years old, we got $10,000 from going to a tow yard, buying $500 cars, selling them for $1,000. Young kids. And it's like, yo, we came from $20 and we go shoot dice at school, and we go buy cars and go to the tow yard, then we selling them on the weekends, riding back 5 cars, playing one of my friends and flipped the car over into a lake before. And it's just like, growing up, nobody gave any structure or guidance to our ambitions. And so when I look back, it's like, yo, how many people in our community don't have structured ambitions, doesn't have guidance? And my thing is like, I'm like, nah, I know what I went through and was able to overcome. So I just want to be a blessing to others and teach them, like, it's more to life. Like, it's so much that we can accomplish and do out here with the ambitions that we got. And I just want to be that vessel to be like, yo, okay, this is how you can do it. Like, I can be we see so many people do it that we look up to, but it's hard to catch and connect with them. It's hard to connect with a Jay-Z and say, yo, teach me what you did. That wasn't his assignment. His assignment was to go as far as possible, and then somebody else got to catch what I did and tell everybody, because I'm still pushing. And so my thing is, I'm like, yo, I just want to be that person that people can come to and we can build together and be reachable and tell you, this is what you can do. Absolutely. This is how you can do it. And I'm a resource for you.
Absolutely.
Outside of having to go to school, because I wasn't the school kid and didn't want to go to college, and it wasn't me.
Yeah, I just solely believe in working smarter and not harder, and it just makes more sense that way. Like, if I can learn something in a few hours as opposed to a few years, then, I would rather have someone that has lived in Spain teach me Spanish than to go take a course and, learn that way, because it just is easier. My nanny, I tell her, only speak Spanish to my daughter because she's gonna learn English. She lives with us, you know. So I want her to learn Spanish and don't speak to. And it's like my nanny's learning English and my daughter's learning Spanish, so it works hand in hand, you know. And I just feel like if we learn how to work smarter and not harder, it just makes it so much easier in life.
Yeah, nah, 100%. And that's, like you said, with my daughter, I'm teaching my daughter French. And I'm like,
that's amazing.
And I'm like, I'm learning, and she'll come home and say it, and then she'll look at me like, why are you talking to me like that? Like, don't talk to me in that language. Talk to me in English.
Yeah, and my daughter does the same.
Yeah, it's like, you talk to me in English. Don't talk to me in French. And when we went to Paris for Christmas, she was like, that's not how you say it. They said this. They didn't say it right. And I'm sitting there and I just
like we
laugh.
have that American accent when we say, absolutely. My daughter says the exact same thing. She just turned 5 and she'll speak to me. Like she'll say "sí," but then if I ask her to say something in Spanish, she's like, "No, only America." And I'm like, why don't you want to teach me? You know? And it's like, you're not saying it properly. And it's just so funny to me that like they have, family is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing. How is your family dynamic with so much work and businesses in place?
It's one of the things that it just take a unit understanding. Like it's just a high level understanding, compromise, and high execution. Like all the time we just work on just executing at a high level and just having that high understanding amongst what it is that we're doing, why we're doing things that we're doing. And one thing that my wife always let us say is like, you ain't no high value man. No, they asked her, you got a high value man? She's like, no, I don't got a high value man. I'm in a high value relationship. We did this together. Like we developed this. And so I always laugh when I talk about it, I always bring that up, like, because she said it one time and I couldn't do nothing but agree with it. Because at first I was thinking, like, wait, what? And she's like, no, we're in a high value relationship. And I said, she's 100% right, because we built the value in this. Like we built this together. So, you know, I have a role that I have to play. She has a role that she has to play for us to make this move and for it to even work. And I tell my friends all the time, like, look, watches are not expensive because of how they look. Watches are expensive because of how they move. And if you understand the movements, and the movements within the watch gives them the value. And we have to have every single part of our life moving smoothly and as swift as possible to really get the value that's needed and push that value out into the world and really have value amongst ourselves. Every part of our life has to be moving smoothly and on time. If one part is not moving, the watch don't work. So that's just, you know, one of the things is that family is one of the things that it's its own dynamic, and it has to operate. It has to move. It has to have its own flow.
Absolutely.
Just like business, just like social, just like network. Everything has to flow. They all have their own operations, but they must work together. Absolutely. One can't clash with the other. My wife and family can't be mad at my business and my travel and my time restraints, and, you know, vice versa.
Absolutely. I like that you have that understanding, because it's like I look at things as a dartboard, right? Like you give 50% to your family, 20% to your business, 10% to another business, 10% to extracurricular activity. How does your dartboard look?
My dartboard look like a tie-dye board. It's just, one thing is that it's just, I had to figure out everything requires a different percentage at different times. So there's never like a set level of 20, 50 here, because at some points in my life, my family need me more than my business, and I'll put my business on the back burner. Like, yeah, I ain't worried about it right now. I don't care. Don't put me on the board for a meeting. Nope. Don't y'all talk week, 2 weeks. I don't want to be involved. I got things I got to handle with my family. It's things we got to do. We have to have this time. Then it's times where it's like, yo, my business need me. Y'all gonna have to wait. Don't put a family trip on the board. You know, let me know. I need a week in advance. Constantly remind me that we got things that where I have to be present at. Just let me know what I have to be present at. If it's not mandatory, right now my focus is here. I'm grinding, I'm working to build something. We got a launch, we got an event coming. I gotta go to press, I gotta do promo, whatever it is I gotta do, I gotta go do this.
Absolutely.
My focus is here. Don't, and you know, she understands and she'd be like, okay, I got you. I know when I'm like, yo, I'm over here.
Right.
Go ahead, because I know what time it is. And so with me, it's just depending on what takes priority at the moment or what's needed. If it's like something that super needs my attention at that time.
Absolutely, and that just makes it all the more better when you're in an understanding.
Yes.
Communication is key in relationships, guys, and it just makes things all the better when you're able to communicate in your relationship.
Yes.
So for everyone that comes on the show, we play this game. It's a little toxic, but it's fun. So people can get to know you outside of social media and outside of business and all that good stuff. So we have 3 versions. This is the newest one I got. Pick Your Poison is a game of would you rather. So would you rather do what's on this card or would you rather do what's on that card? That's Pick Your Poison. Okay. All poisonous questions. All kind of rated very poisonous.
Got you.
Bad choices. Have you ever, I don't know, peed outside a hotel building?
Got you.
Terrible choices. None easy, all terrible.
Okay.
I've never played this one. This is if you had to. So I guess it's if you had to sleep in a bucket or have Martha Stewart base you a turkey. I don't know.
So it's random things.
Yeah, just random things that, yeah.
It don't matter. Either one, it don't matter.
So I play with you too. So you ask me questions as well too. So we're both in the hot seat. But the rules of each game is you can't remix the answer. You can give your explanation and you have to pick one or answer. Okay, so it's either bad choices, pick your poison, or the party. It don't matter. You let me know. I'll go with, let's do the one you never did. We'll go with that. Cool. Let's open this up. Yeah, I don't know what's on here. It says be able to talk to animals, but they all hate you, or dig a hole in the earth's upper mantle. 21 miles. That's easy. Them ain't too bad. They're not bad. These ones are bad. This is probably the most toxic, but I don't know. Maybe they put it out like the easier cards on the, what should we do? Like, let's do 6 each. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think with this one, you just do like this card or that card. Okay. So I guess I'll start. All right. If you had to get married to a desperate capybara, it's the world's largest rodent. Never heard of it. Okay. Or your roommates host nightly orgies in your studio apartment. What was the first one? Get married to a desperate capybara. The world's largest rodent. Capybara. You've heard of that? What in the world is that? What does it look like?
I don't know. It looks like I've heard the name.
Oh,
that's easy. I'll take that. I'll get married to the world's largest rodent.
Oh, cool. But I mean, orgies. I mean, like that's a bit much.
Every night.
Every night in a studio apartment, so you're like trapped in their space, like nowhere to go, no other room. Yeah, that's tough.
All right, so it's either one.
Yeah, you could mix and match whatever one.
Okay, spar with an ibex for the right to mate. Spar with an ibex for the right to mate.
Okay, what's an ibex?
I don't know what an ibex is.
What's ibex?
I think it's like a kind of like a ram sort of thing.
Oh my God. Okay, so I'm sparring with a bull pretty much.
Spar with a bull for the right to mate, or get plastic surgery to look like Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson. Oh my gosh. You couldn't say Marilyn Monroe?
I thought that's what I was going to say. I'm like, no, wait, that said Marilyn Manson.
Oh my gosh. Geez. Spar with a bull, I don't have a chance. So I'd probably get the Marilyn Manson surgery and hopefully be in a position where I can go get a reverse surgery or get something done to not look like him, because that's not the move. Okay. Get fired out of a cannon into orbit, or buy everything you see an advertisement for. Everything.
Get shot out of a cannon
into orbit, or buy everything you see an advertisement for.
Man, I see so much advertisement. I'd rather get shot out of space. And I run ads. That's the bad part. I'd rather get shot out of space than have to buy everything that I see.
That's a lot to buy. I mean, think about it. You watch a YouTube video, advertisement.
It's 3 to 5.
You watch Hulu, advertisement. Like, it's just ridiculous. Commercials. Oh, it's on you. Okay.
So Dwight Schrute from The Office is your life partner? Was it?
I don't know who that
Schrute, Dwight
Schrute.
Yeah, Dwight Schrute
You
from
can
The
tell
Office is your life partner?
We don't watch these things or know these
TV.
animals.
Or live in Grand Theft Auto world as an innocent citizen.
Ooh, tough.
That's Dwight Schrute.
Oh, Jesus. That's not
Yeah,
it.
have Dwight Schrute as your life partner from The Office, or live in Grand Theft Auto as an innocent citizen.
Oh, that's tough. I mean, as your lifetime partner, like, you can't change partners. It's for life.
Nah, yeah, this is your partner in life.
Or die is the other choice, pretty much. I mean, you're.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm gonna have to live, so I'm gonna have the lifetime partner
with Dwight Schrute.
Yeah.
Got it.
I mean, I'd rather live than to just be in a game and die.
Yeah.
Because that's not gonna last long. Okay. I have a scaly reptile cock, or be haunted by a life-size Furby.
I'm gonna take the life-size Furby. Definitely taking the life-size Furby.
Literally nuts.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
All right, I got one is share a studio apartment with a horny moose.
Oh my gosh.
Or have penis feet.
Penis feet. And a horny moose. I'd rather have penis feet than to live with a moose. I'd cover up my dogs and just get surgery on them. I don't know. Hopefully,
that game wasn't too bad, too crazy.
Yeah, that wasn't that bad. But what do you have coming up? Going on? So
doing Madison Square Garden, July 9th. Doing Madison Square Garden July 9th. Doing a conference there.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, this would be the biggest conference I've done so far. So I'm excited about that. And just, continuously building and just expanding the community that I already got is really my main focus at this point.
That's an accomplishment. Madison Square Garden is a massive venue in the heart of New York. It's, oh my God, I love New York.
Yeah.
Business-wise, very oriented. So July 9th. Madison Square Garden. Sign up. Where can they sign up for?
To get a ticket, you can sign up you can go to recessionproofconvention.com. recessionproofconvention.com to sign up. We got a waiting list now that people will be able to join the waiting list.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So get on that waiting list if you guys want to have an edutainment night at the Garden in New York, July 9th. And that is it for Telly Talks.